Now I've tried to label the buttons. So we are going to go through this really fast because this is the evidence is very interesting. Now you have what? We're going to press that. The property I chose is called Knolls. It's an apartment complex. So this is April. The entry date is April 16th at 8:30 p.m. this year. So it says here that this is a positive or green stuff. It says dilapidated structural elements replaced, repaired, right? This is one of those things. And the numbers are not very high. It's like 7.2. So it could be exterior to the property or internally also, but not that big of an effect. So then we have there is something called Zephyr, right? So that is the picture there is of Lord Lakshmi Narasimha. That is Lakshmi or Venus is cooling down the wrath of Narasimha or the lion-headed god. So the power there is about 4. And then also there is spraying cool water Zephyr over previous burns. Previous burns meaning a place that is burnt by, in this case, since we saw previously it was dilapidated, it's by dereliction maybe. Perhaps people didn't do their whatever they're supposed to do, and now spraying cool water happens there. These are the 3 things that I found in this property. So now we go back to where, the question of where. So we hit the center button, right? So I have copied and pasted over something that's way below. You scroll down and you see this, but I've copied it here. So you notice on the next to the red moon colored, there's this Venus moon corner where it is supposed to be very leaky, watery. You see the leaky window there. So it says here, area to be repaired, chill over previous burns. And there is a remedy for leaky place. It says put an awning or something if there is rain. So it's expecting rain there. Then it says chill breeze and cold. Again, same thing. And then leaky cold. So there are 3 different things that point to this area, and each of them is of strength like 4 or 5 or 7, right? So you look at the map, that leaky thing is in the patio, right? The patio that is outside of the... So now that we have east in this place, I can talk about it, right? We're looking at the patio that is in the direction of southeast, right? Outside the living room. So now we look at the demigods that rule this place. There is Apa that has fallen down. Apa is water. When Apa falls, water falls down, that means that place is not receiving a lot of water, right? There's some dryness there. So there is also Apavasta, which is mild, that is son of Apa, which is mild water. There is Indra and Jayant, and it says whatever god falls off, right? And it shows the effect of the falling off, right? Not the people in the green, the people in the demigods in the red. Parjanya is just beyond the reach of this patio. You will see Shiki. Shiki is the peacock. You will see peacock meaning variegated colors. rainbows perhaps, and Parjanya, which indicates that there's not much water spray coming through, so should be sprayed. This place should be sprayed. That's what the remedy is for Parjanya falling off. Now you shrink this apartment, and relative to the spaces that are being shared, the common spaces that are being shared, like corridors and so on, with the neighbors. So the position of this one is bottom left, right? And there is an apartment before this apartment in front of it. It shows here that neighbor is kind of, there's barbecue there, meaning that guy is probably in the military or something. I verified that is the case. So these are talking about neighbors and what happens in the in-between spaces. So I've pulled the research that it showed. So here it says neighbor, shared area in between is leaky, cold, stagnant, crying, too emotional. Well, I mean, we haven't seen that. It's that space. It's not the neighbor. Neighbor is actually like a military person, ex-military person. But you notice that the space is where this shows this, right? Just off the you see the main door, and it's just beyond the main door. Now we go to when, right? In when we click that button, right? You notice this is 16th of April, the day when the entry took place. If you notice the positions of the moon, 3 degrees and 9 degrees, so we are only off by about a few hours, right? Moon has moved like 6 degrees, so that's the day. So let's see what happens. So it shows here in bright green, that dark green rather, structure rebuild causing dilapidated structural elements to be repaired. So that's at the bottom of the legend there on the right. Now let's go one more day. So we are now on 18th. You notice there is chilled spray, Zephyr resource moving to alleviate earlier burns, and then you have Zephyr showing up there, and you also have this dilapidated structure. So when structure dilapidated is dereliction, right? When it shows the deity Bhadrakali, which means the structure is being broken down by something that is sappy, like moss or Ficus religiosa. This is a tree, often in Tamil called Arasamaram. So this tree has roots on unbelievable places, like in the middle of concrete and things. So if you let it grow, it will kind of create like cracks, and eventually the building will be under repair. So this is dereliction, like those things have to be removed and so on. So that is the idea. This is not like a lightning bolt, or this is not like a bulldozer. This is like neglect, right? And more like mossy area, things like that. So that combined with this chilled spray business, let's see, we'll show you the evidence. On 18th of April, the Knolls at Inglewood, there's a person who was standing there outside spraying. You notice the spray on the area where it shows, right? Now this balcony was sprayed pretty much 2 days after the move-in happened. And nobody realized, but this is what it said. It said that this kind of spraying will happen. Now the next, you remember the shared space thing that we did, where we took the apartment and put it in its location with all the shared spaces and the other apartments relative to the other one, right? you see how the just outside of the main door there was this leak, right? So this was what it was. So this, we had to call the office and ask those people to come over, squeegee that thing, because it was full of water. And it remained like that for 2 whole days, just like that. So here again, what we are saying is we have presented this to the power of Vastu. This is not about heat, but it's about spray and so on. So this also talks about not just the dwelling, it also talks about the successes and tribulations of the head of household, right? Heads of household, the tenant rather, right? It tells you what problems they will go through that day, right? So if you notice, I'll go back to this thing where it says, you see, if you go to, if you see on 416 where the tenant entered, it says gaining heat. Gaining heat is like gaining momentum, educational superiority or school. So reversal of flooding, excess dry heat desiccating. So this reversal of flooding business is basically like, at one time, I mean, I'll tell you, this is my story, so I can tell you. So my wife had a dance school in the same area, and we had to close it down and repatriate to India. And we are back here in the same area to revamp the school. So on the day we entered, it is telling us that there is reversal of flooding. Flooding means, as you saw in the previous video, flooding is like bankruptcy or succumbing to forces, cooling down forces beyond your control. That's what it is. Like flooding meaning air being gone and the person drowning, right? So this is what happened to our school. Not because of students, but it was because of our own personal events in life, where we had to go to India, take care of our parents, ailing parents. They're all very old. Now we are back, and it shows that there is a reversal of that flooding. There's warmth. I mean, it can be interpreted like excess dry heat can be interpreted like warmth. And so there is territory gaining. So that's the first thing you see in place, right? So these are all interpretations. So that is what this is. You have to interpret it, and when you look at your own story, it will tell you what happens where, when. So it is not just chill rain. It is so previous burns could mean the sudden hasty pullout from this place and coming back to find that there is prospect in this place for education, to revamp and then restart the school, which is the most passionate thing that my wife holds dear to her heart, right? So that's what this is. This is about various things, various concepts that you can interpret from here, right? So it says good things with name, superior argument, because of causing good name, prestige restored, reinstated, right? You see it gels with the story I'm telling you about, right? So we give this English interpretation to the extent, to the best of our abilities, right? To the extent where you, the user, can interpret it with the events that are happening in your office, for instance. Your maybe road rage that happened to you when you were driving, or some arguments that you've had with your neighbor, or however it is, right? I mean, you can interpret it. So that's what this is. So in the coming videos, I will go with the same setup, and I will give more and more evidences in separate videos. And so this is the astrology package that's doing the when and the what, and the Vastu package that's telling you where. And so they all gel together. This is no work of human, right? It has been given down from Lord Vishwakarma to the sages, and they've written it down. And what we are doing here is to faithfully follow it, and then give you a little bit of interpretation in English so that you can go from there, right? And again, putting you in control of the dwelling that you are living in. Thank you.